This year has been a little bit different, but at the same time successful. We will be joined by some distinguished speakers to discuss how our Living Learning community experience will help you during your time at Texas Women's University. I would like to introduce Dr. Monica Mendez-Grant, Vice President for Student Life and Enrollment Management.
I want to welcome each of you to the Living Learning End of the Year ceremony. Your experiences outside the classroom are important to your overall growth and development. I want to mention our expected outcomes we hope you will have experienced as a result of your participation with the Living Learning communities. First, Living Learning communities play a big role in helping to support areas of growth. An LLC is a place where each of you can come together with common interests to connect and build off those connections to learn more about yourself and your own area of interest. In addition, we know that by living in an LLC, you have increased interactions with one another, or what we call student engagement. This increased engagement with your peers helps with your transition to college. In addition, some of you have had increased exposure to programs and academic opportunities through your connections to faculty or staff connected to the LLC. This connection to faculty and staff also help to increase your learning. And finally, we want you to have incorporated a variety of viewpoints into your understanding of the world by meeting new people and, of course, challenging yourself. I want to commend you for your leadership. I want to commend you for taking this extra step, and I want to congratulate you for making it towards a very challenging first year.
At this time, we would like to recognize the faculty who made an impact in the Living Learning Community Program during the academic year. At this time, we would like to recognize the departments who collaborated with us to provide a unique experience to Living Learning Community Program during the 2020-2021 academic year. I would like to introduce Jill Eckert, Executive Director of University Housing and Dining.
Hello, and welcome to the Living Learning Community's End of the Year reception. We're so glad you're able to join us today. My name is Jill Eckert. I'm the Executive Director of Housing and Dining, and I'm here to, in part, talk to you a little bit about what I hope you experienced over this last year. We believe that there are 10 experiences that each and every college student should have while they're living on campus. And the first one is celebration, and that's what we're doing today. We're celebrating the accomplishment that you finished or almost have finished your first year, and that hopefully there are some good grades that you're also going to be able to celebrate. Connectedness. Connectedness is you were able to connect with some other people, whether that was within your classroom, on your floor, or maybe just learning how to live with somebody else if you had a roommate. And so we hope that you were able to connect with someone who help enriched your life this year. Self-discovery. You were away from home, perhaps for the first time for any length, and so you discovered what you like about living at home, away from home. You also tried to figure out what it was to have a roommate, to have to manage your time and get up and go to class if it was in person, but also, perhaps more difficult, was to budget your time to make sure that you spent time every single day working on classroom activities. Resiliency. Perhaps the most critical this year is resiliency. How did you survive perhaps a quarantine or isolation when you couldn't leave your room? You had to be resilient. You had to be able to find something to keep you motivated because the work still went on, unless you were sick, of course. But how did you continue to find that inner strength to continue to be successful. We know it was especially difficult this year, and we know that everyone's mental health took a beating, and we could only hope that you figured out what you needed to make sure that you were recovering from those challenges. Communication. How you learned how to communicate via Zoom and Google Meet, go-to meetings, I don't know, whatever those platforms were, you figured out how to communicate clearly to make sure that your message was understood by your class, by your faculty member, even talking to your family when you couldn't get home. And so communication, you learned how to communicate with your roommate and make sure that they understood what you needed to be successful and when you needed quiet to study or you were going to bed or taking a nap and that they needed to respect that time. Relationship building. You learned how to live with somebody. You learned how to find people who had similar interests. Perhaps it was in your sorority or fraternity. Perhaps it was on your intramural team. Perhaps it was that they always ate the same meal together or you found them in a classroom. Career exploration is number 7. And you learned how to write a resume. You learned how to apply for jobs on campus or off campus. And you learned that perhaps this major was or was not for you. And how do you make it work for you as you envision your future? Academic success. You already have achieved so much by the fact that you are here and that the semester is almost over. That says a lot because not everybody who started in August is still here at TWU or living on campus. And so we hope that you have been invited to the Academic Excellence Reception where nearly 500 students are participating and celebrating that they had a 3.5 GPA. And lastly, life skills. What did you learn? How did you budget your time? How did you budget your finances? Figuring out what to do when the light bulb went out or you had a leak in your sink. Figuring out how you could manage yourself, or perhaps your car got a flat tire and what am I going to do? So the life skills you'll take forever. I'm also hoping that the friends and the friendships that you developed here living on campus will also stick with you to make some incredible memories for you over your time. Thanks so much and good luck with finals.
At this time, we would like to recognize the staff who made an impact in the Living Learning community experience during the 2020-2021 academic year. Now, let us see some accomplishments for the Living Learning Community Program during this year. I would like to introduce Mary Maddox, Assistant Director for Residence Education.
Good day, and thank you for joining us for the Living Learning Community Ceremony. My name is Mary Maddox, and I'm Assistant Director for Residence Education. It's my pleasure to speak with you today about the history of our Living Learning communities. Believe it or not, but they started 25 years ago with a joint collaboration between academics and student life, and specifically with housing, to help support students in their academic success during their first year. We hope that you've also enjoyed your experience in Living Learning communities and building that foundation for your further success throughout your college journey. We hope that you've had the opportunity in classes to get to know faculty as well as to build great study groups with your classmates that you also live with. That's the foundation of our Living Learning communities, to help bridge that gap between in-class and out-of-class activities. Although we know this year those in-person experiences were few and far between, we do hope that you were able to take advantage of those, as well as your virtual experiences in forging those important relationships for your success overall academically. We look forward to you continuing your college career, living on campus, or eventually maybe not, but we hope that the foundation that you've built during this year, during your first year, as well as our transfers that were joining us for their first year this year as part of their learning community, creating that lifelong experience that you'll benefit for the rest of your time here at TWU. So we look forward to you enjoying those leadership experiences, continued growth in your chosen studies, and then also building those lifelong relationships that will carry you through. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a good day.
Thank you for tuning in to the end of the year reception for the Living Learning Community Program for the 2020-2021 academic year.